We want to find the electric field for a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. So we are looking at the electric field for a uniformly charged infinite plane sheet at a distance r from it. Now, before we do that, let us quickly recall what is Gauss's law. Gauss's law states that the total electric flux through a closed surface integral E dot dA is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by that surface. Okay, so now we are going to apply Gauss's law to find the electric field due to this infinite plane sheet. See, I am drawing this with uneven sides because this is a part of an infinite sheet that has a surface charge density. We are assuming that it has a positive charge on it, that has a uniform surface charge density of sigma coulomb per meter square. And this sheet is non-conducting, say like a sheet of thin plastic wrap. Now we are going to follow this particular sequence of steps that are listed out over here, and I want you to follow this carefully because the same sequence of steps was followed for finding the electric field due to an infinitely long straight wire carrying charge. This was discussed in the lesson Gauss's law part 1. And we will also be following the same sequence of steps for finding the electric field due to other symmetric charge distributions. Now you can see that the first step is to draw the charge distribution, which we've already done, and we have to make an intuitive guess for the electric field. Now, don't you think that the electric field will be outwards perpendicular to the sheet? It will be present on both sides of the sheet. See, over here we've taken a positive charge on the sheet, so the field is outwards. Had this been a negative charge, the field would have been inwards. Now the next step is to choose a suitable Gaussian surface, and you can see that the charge here has planar symmetry, so a closed cylinder seems to be a good choice for the Gaussian surface. So this is the Gaussian surface which is at a distance r from the sheet. Now you can see that the electric field, I'll just draw this Gaussian surface over here, and you can see that the electric field cuts the two ends of the cylinder. You have field lines through these two ends, but there is no field over here through this curved surface of the cylinder. There is no field through the curved surface of the cylinder. So this also satisfies the third step, which is that the electric field should be perpendicular to the surface if it is present at a surface, and it should also be constant. Now at a fixed distance r, at all points on the ends of the cylinder, E would be the same, and it is 0 through other parts of the area. Now the next step is the fourth step, which is to find the left hand side of Gauss's law, which means we need to find the total flux through the entire Gaussian surface. This means we have to add the flux through the curved surface area to the flux through the two ends of the cylinder. We just saw that the flux through the curved surface area is 0. Now let us see what is the flux through the two ends of the cylinder. This is given by integral E dot dA. Now at the ends of the cylinder, which are at a distance r from the sheet, the electric field is going to be constant, so we can put it outside the integral, and the angle between E and dA is 0, so this will be E dA cos 0, and cos 0 is 1. So this leaves us with integral E dA. See, this was equal to E dA cos 0, that is the dot product, and cos 0 is 1, so this gives us E integral dA. Now integral dA is the total area of this element, so this is A. Similarly, the flux through the other end of the cylinder will also be EA. So the flux through this end is EA, and this is also EA. So the total flux through the Gaussian surface, is twice EA. So now you can see that we are at the last step, which is to find the charge enclosed and then equate the left hand side with the right hand side, which means you have to put the total flux through the closed surface equal to the charge enclosed by epsilon naught. You can see that some charge is enclosed over here in this portion of the Gaussian surface, as this surface cuts the sheet. So the enclosed charge is going to be a charge present in an area same as the area of the two ends. If this is A and this is A, so this area is also A. Now this portion of the sheet which is enclosed within the Gaussian surface is the charge enclosed. So the charge enclosed, Q enclosed, is equal to sigma times A. If you just take a look at the units, sigma is in coulomb per meter square and the area will be in meter square. So we get the charge enclosed which is in coulombs. Now we'll equate the total flux with the charge enclosed over epsilon naught. So we get 2 times EA is equal to sigma A, the charge enclosed, over epsilon naught. And finally we get the electric field due to this infinite plane uniformly charged sheet as sigma over 2 epsilon naught. Okay, now I want you to find the electric field due to a point charge. Let's take this as a point charge Q and at a distance R from it. This is from the center of the charge and this distance is R. And I want you to do this on your own and you'll follow these steps one by one. First step is, have you drawn the charge in your notebook and sketched the electric field around it? Next step is, choose a suitable Gaussian surface, and since the charge has spherical symmetry, choose an appropriate Gaussian surface. Done? Alright, now next step, step 3 is, I want you to check if the electric field is perpendicular to the surface everywhere, and also check if it is constant at all points of the surface. Have you done this? Good. Now moving on to the next step, find the left hand side of Gauss's law, which means you find the total flux through the spherical Gaussian surface. Oops, so I told you that the Gaussian surface is spherical. Anyway, now remember that when you are finding the flux, you need to take E outside the integral and integrate over the area. I'll give you a small hint. The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. Now the last step is find what is the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface that you have chosen. Put the flux that you found in step 4 equal to the charge enclosed over epsilon naught. Now just see, and then you solve for E. Just see if you've got this answer. E is equal to by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. If you did, great, good, congratulate yourself. So, in case you couldn't solve this, don't worry, go through the lesson once again and then try solving this.